Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel. I'm in the type rating for the Airbus A330 and today we are sitting in the ToLiss Airbus A340-600 in X-Plane 12. So this is about the closest to my new airplane type that we are going to get in any simulation, and today we are going to do our first flight with this. We're currently sitting on the ground in Frankfurt at gate Alpha 62 and we are going to fly this over to Munich, which is going to be just a quick crew training flight on Lufthansa line operations. So on these type of flights, usually they do try to integrate them somehow into the normal passenger service. For that reason, I've just loaded it up with full passenger complement 297, and we got some 15 tons in the cargo hold today. Let's head over right into the cockpits. And yeah, it doesn't look as nice as the MSFS aircraft. However, this is really for me for flying an airplane that gets closest to my new type, and that job it does very well. As you can see, I did download a little texture mod there to brighten the textures up a little bit, as I felt they were getting rather dark when flying into the sun. But apart from that, we are pretty much fully done and can start our preliminary cockpit preparation in order to prepare for our flight. So let's get right into it. Our weather radar is turned off, the engine master switch is off, engine start switch normal, landing gear down, wipers off, perfect. So let's check the battery voltages. We need to have above 25.5. And this looks good on all three batteries, so it's time to power the airplane up. Okay, external power is available, so we can switch this on as well. The RMPs are on, so let's go ahead with the APU fire test. I don't intend to start the APU yet, but nonetheless we want to do it. Okay, and the IRS is going into nav. Finally, we gotta adjust the lights, and honestly I don't really see the need for any lights on this one, so let's just about switch them off. Okay then. So, let's give the airplane a couple of moments to boot up. In the meantime, we can start having a look into our EFB and can start setting up a little bit of stuff over here. So we are departing Frankfurt and we need a couple of charts. My chart's kindly sponsored by Navigraph, so thank you very much for that, and I can absolutely recommend you to have a look into the Navigraph charts, as they are pretty comprehensive. And most importantly, you just get charts for the entire world, and that's really what I've been looking for. Okay, so that is our airport. Next up we need... Oh, not that one. Back, let's prepare our departure charts as well. So basically, once the airplane is powered, we want to set it up as completely as possible. So we are going to prepare the EFB. Like so, and the rest of the stuff up here, unfortunately, we can only do once we have our FMC prepared. So let's take Frankfurt, runway 18, and in terms of the weather, what do we have? The wind is currently 330 at 8, so that's a tailwind approaching... That's a tailwind that is actually approaching our operational limitations over here. We can take a maximum of 10 knots. Okay, and the rest of that stuff we will do in a moment when the airplane is actually... and everything is actually done. Okay, well. In any case, we have some preliminary data over here. Certainly going to change that as we go along. Okay then. Cool. Let's try that one more time. So, I want Frankfurt, I want runway 18, and the rest of it actually uplinked itself. Okay, let's try that once more. Config to takeoff, compute. Perfect, that looks more like what I've been looking for. Okay then, EFB is pretty much prepared. So, at this point, the pilot monitoring is just about going to run his little check before going to the outside. So let's quickly head over to the captain's seat. Oxygen pressure 1850. Hydraulic quantity sufficient, and the engine oil quantity is sufficient for our flight as well. Flaps up, agrees with the lever. Speed brake disarmed. Okay, chocks are in position, so let's do a quick check on parking brake. Pressure is there. Off again. So, we don't have green hydraulic pressure, so the alternate brake system is active. Let's test our brake pedals. Okay, we get 1000 psi, they feel good, perfect. And then we can set our parking brake. The trucks are in position, but nonetheless, we can still use parking brakes for that one. Okay then. With that, the PM is going to head off for the walk around, and we can start our system setup on the power flying side. So, ground supply on, ground control on, evacuation switches on the captain position, and the IRSs are aligning. And let's go over to the lights. Strobe light auto, nav light 1. Refueling. Let's see, we've got 15.5 tons on board, and that is all we need. So, seatbelts on, no smoking auto, emergency exit lights on. And we can go further up. Everything looks normal over here. We certainly are going to take a normal airflow. So let's get on to the batteries. Gonna run a quick check on that electrical DC page. Let's turn them off and on again, one by one, and make sure that we get positive amperage here, which basically initiates a charging cycle for the batteries. We're gonna do the same on number 2 and the APU battery, and we can see them all charging right over here. Okay, perfect. So that's our electrical panel. Then let's do our fuel. Okay, and the engine fire test. Like so. Okay, on the right hand side, everything looks good over here. We'll pull the PA button and nothing illuminated on the aft overhead. Okay, QNH 1013 is actually correct for our conditions at the moment. And over here everything looks good, Then we can go down to the pedestal, weather radar, multi-scan auto, ground clutter suppression auto. Again, it's calibrated. Let's take a tilt of +5, PWS off, and all of that stuff looks good down here. All of that looks good. The transponder is standby, flying on the right side, so we turn it on, and TCAS above, and that's it. Okay, perfect. Let's move on to the MCDU. So, A340-600 Trent engines, IRAC cycle is current, perfect. So, we are going to fly from Frankfurt towards Munich. And I'm not going to request an uplink over here, but I'm simply going to type stuff in manually. That's just making our life a little bit easier. So, Lufthansa 4500, 296 passengers on board. Cost index 24 and cruising at flight level 230, like so. Okay, IRS in it. Just a quick check, we do not press the align and reference button, and then we can continue to the flight plan. Frankfurt, departure, 18, and we'll fly the Cindy 5 Sierra departure today, like so. Okay, from Cindy we are going to join the Zulu 74 airway. Zulu 74 to Harlem, Tango 104 towards Rokiel, and that's it already. Pretty much like so. Insert. Okay, arrival will be an ILS approach to runway 26 right. And we're coming in from Rokiel, so let's select the Rokiel 26 transition like so. Okay. Secondary flight plan. Our engine outset leads us towards Frankfurt X-ray 3. And immediate return towards Frankfurt. We're going to prepare that for an ILS approach, runway 25 center. And that's it. Okay. On the RADNAV we can take read active, not that we really need it, but at least we have something that is along our route of flight then. Okay, flight plan. Fix info, Frankfurt 18 on the 178 radial. And our engine out waypoint is going to be Frankfurt X-ray 3. Perfect. Progress. We insert our departure runway, Frankfurt 18. And then we can quickly save our route, as that will make it easier for the pilot monitoring to check the route later on. Okay then, performance initialization. Let's go ahead with this. And let's make good use of our EFB over here. So reset to current values, please. Zero fuel weight, 220.1 and a CG of 24. Sorry, it's 221.1, of course. Okay, and 24, and the block fuel gonna be 15.5. Like so. Extra says negative. Well, it shouldn't do that. Here we go, that's better. And finally our takeoff performance, and now we can do that calculation once more. Let's reset this. Okay, and compute. So, that's a 1+F takeoff. No thanks. I want config 2. And this is config 2, 70 degrees, 149, 49, 54, up trim 3.7. Okay. So let's go ahead and enter a bit of stuff here. 149, 149, 154. And we are using config 2 with a trim of 3.7 units. Okay, and 70 degrees of flex temperature. Okay, green dot speed says 213 versus 214. Very slight difference there. There shouldn't be any, but it's just a knot, so I'm simply going to ignore that for now. Okay, next phase looks all good, and that's really all we need on this. Okay, cool. So at that point, the pilot monitoring should have come back already, and we would do the oxygen mask tests together. Unfortunately, that doesn't really want to work over here, so all we do is set up the glass shield finally. Obviously, we're going to use constraints, and initial climb is 4,000. Okay, perfect. And that's our system setup complete, so let's go ahead and talk about the departure briefing. In the meantime, I'm quickly going to start up the APU. Come on, here we go. Okay, quickly gonna start up the APU, and then it's time to brief. So, Airbus Smarter Briefings means the pilot monitoring is going to lead the briefing. So how about we start with that? So, from the PM's perspective then. Ready for the briefing? Yes, sir. Okay, Frankfurt runway 18, Cindy 5, Sierra departure, climbing 4,000 feet. MSA on the departure 3,500, and extra fuel we have 1.1 ton, which is 8 minutes. Okay, perfect. There are no hotspots for the taxi out. The RTO margin, stop margin, is 611 meters. Engine outset, we continue on the runway track to 25 miles. Climbing 4,000 feet, that is going to keep us at a safe altitude. And I have all of that in secondary flight plan and backed up as well. And the engine out acceleration altitude is going to be 1,860. Like this. Alright, return considerations, we are under the maximum landing weight, so we can return immediately if needed, and in terms of special operations I don't have anything. Do you see any threats for our departure? No? Okay, me neither. So in that case, let's go ahead with the cockpit preparation checklist. Gear pins and covers removed, fuel quantity 15.5 tons, balanced, seatbelts on, ADRs, nav, barrel rev, QNH 1013, cockpit preparation checklist complete. Okay, APU is available, lead can come on, and the ground power can go. Ground cockpit, go ahead. So, please disconnect external power. Roger, disconnecting the GPU. Okay, park and brake set. You can disconnect the chocks and get our pushback tuck. And we will call you ready in a few moments. Okay, tuck is requested. Let's call for ATC clearance. Frankfurt delivery, Lufthansa 4500, request startup and clearance to Munich. Lufthansa 4500, cleared Munich, Cindy 5 Sierra departure, climb 4000, squawk 1000. Okay, and Lufthansa 4500, request pushback. Lufthansa 4500, pushback approved, area 1. Alright, so the ground is ready. Then let's go ahead and do our stuff with the before start checklist. Park and brake, set, takeoff speed and thrust, V1 149, VR 149, V2 154, flex temperature 70, windows closed, beacon on, before start checklist complete. So, ground cockpit, clear to push, area 1, park and brake set. Release brakes. Brakes released. Okay, standing by for engine start. I do hope that I have inserted the pushback somewhat correctly. I just took a rough guess with the 90 meters pushback and the turn, but in any case it should bring us hopefully anywhere remotely close to the line. But we'll see about it. Okay, we're clear of the red line, so let's go ahead and start up our engines. Ground cockpit, go ahead, clear to start, clear to start. And I think I have to interrupt the pushback here, otherwise we are going to create some scrap metal. Oh, how do I interrupt this? Just set the parking brake? No? Ooh, what is it doing now? Okay. Well, I think this is probably the best we're gonna get. Okay, let's not think about it. Starting engines 1 and 2. I still need to download better pushback, but I just couldn't understand from the README how to install it properly. And since I'm rather new to X-Plane, I do apologize if anybody else is shaking their head right now and saying like, oh, that's so easy, you need to know that. But no, I unfortunately couldn't tell from looking at the README, so apologies for that. So engine starting up, and in the meantime our parking brake is set, so you can disconnect the tuck, tow bar, and advise when clear. Two good starts, starting engines 3 and 4. Engine start is all automatic, you don't need to do any callouts. That stuff works all by itself. It does take a little bit of time here for the engines to start up. That is quite normal. Not every engine can start as quick as the CFM56 in Microsoft Flight Simulator. But here we go. Okay, that is 4 good starts. Ground cockpit, go ahead. Clear disconnect, clear sign, right, prepare aircraft for taxi and have a good day, bye-bye. So, the airplane trims itself, that's how it works on the long-haul Airbuses. And then we can do our procedures as well. No anti-ice needed on this. Come on. That's what we're looking for. And after start checklist. Anti-ice, off, Ecom status, checked, pitch trim, that's 25.1%, rudder trim, neutral, after start checklist complete. Okay, flight control check. Full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral, rudder, full left, full right, neutral. The PM checks his side stick as well. And that's it. Okay, Lufthansa 4500, request taxi. Right side clear, left side clear. And Lufthansa 4500, taxi order point runway 18 via November 8 November. So, taxi cam on, brake check, pressure 0. So it is a huge airplane. Really huge. Just look at this. The main gear is just about on the center line. And that is just as much as we have to overshoot. Okay. So right side clear, left side clear. Now just look at the taxi cam to help with judging the turns. The main gear more or less is meant to stay on the line. Okay. Everything clear on the right, everything clear on the left. And the same here again, onto November, and then we have a little bit of time for our taxi items. Okay. So, I don't see any changes to when we did our takeoff briefing. Nope. Okay. Alright, taxi checklist. Flight controls, checked. Flap setting, config 2. Radar and predictive wind shear system, on and auto. Engine start selector, normal, ecam memo, takeoff no blue. Taxi checklist complete. So we're rolling all in idle, and indeed the A330 would do the same thing. In idle it rolls really nice. Sometimes you need a little bit of breakaway thrust to get it going. So there's a little trick in that you can set the thrust levers with the middle position here to the H of the ATHR. And that is about the amount of thrust you need to get it rolling. And once you have it rolling, simply At about 8 knots ground speed, go back to idle thrust, and then the plane is going to maintain a nice taxi speed. In the A340, at the typical gross weights that most flight simmers are going to fly, you can see the thing goes to 30 knots even in idle thrust, and that is really what we want to see over here. Obviously, at higher thrusts, if you've got it up to the max takeoff weight, things are going to look a little bit different. But we can simply let it taxi like this. Okay, Lufthansa 4500, over to tower, and we are ready for departure. Okay, Lufthansa 4500, line up runway 18. Cabin crew, prepare for departure. Okay, there is no approach area for runway 18, so we don't need to worry about that. Line up checklist. Takeoff runway 18 via November. TCAS, TARA, PAX 1 and 2, off, line up checklist complete. So I'm looking forward to how the airplane is going to behave when we are airborne. What I was surprised about the most when I first flew the full flight simulator of the widebody Airbus is that there actually was quite a bit of delay between doing the side stick input and between the airplane responding, and that at first made it quite difficult to control the airplane accurately. So with that in mind, let's see how this one is going to behave. I could imagine that this delay is going to be even more severe, seeing that the A340 is an even larger aircraft than the A330. Okay, that's runway 18 on the full length. So down to a nice little taxi speed. Now watch out how much I have to overshoot with the nose in order to get the main gears straight on the runway. Look at that. This is insane, isn't it? But as you can see on the taxi cam, I'm even a little bit to the left of the center line now. Alright then. Lufthansa 4500, clear for takeoff. Takeoff. Man flag 70 SRS, auto thrust blue. Thrust set. Knots. D1 rotate. D1. Positive climb. Gear up. So the rotation felt pretty good. Pretty close to what I'm used to from full flight simulator. And now I'm excited for the first turn to see how things are going to behave over there. Okay, 1800 feet. Thrust climb, auto thrust. Flaps 1. Speed check, flaps 1. Back 1 on. Okay, let's start the turn. Yes, there is a bit of delay in my input. Very nice. That is how those aircraft fly. Let me show you the side stick when I'm exiting the turn in a few moments. $1,000 to go. Okay, flap 0. Speed check, flap 0. So look at my input when I release the stick and for how long the airplane keeps rolling. Stick neutral. You can really feel the response and the delay over here due to the mass of the plane. Okay, let's continue the climb. Looking at Throttle 110 at first. Okay, master caution, air pack 2 off. Well, let's turn back to on. So this little master caution with the pack there was a really nice demonstration of why we no longer have an after takeoff checklist in the Airbuses. Okay, is that standard? Standard cross-check passing flight level 5-6 now. Checked. So for anything that you can do wrong in the after takeoff items, the airplane is going to alert you. And for that reason, you do not need an after takeoff checklist. Just like we have just seen with the pack that was off for a little bit longer than we would normally have kept it off. Okay, let's put the autopilot on. Autopilot 2. And continue the climb to cruising level, flight level 230. All cruise blue, flight level 230 blue. Auto tank transfer in progress message there, that is expected. Okay, let's do the flight level 100 close. So, 10,000 foot. Landing lights off, and I think it's going to stay smooth, so release passengers. And then we can do a little bit of housekeeping. Optimum 402, cruising 230, and I am totally happy with that. Okay, here we go, looks good. So, temperature is 10 degrees now, but I think we're going to stay clear of all those clouds. But we're actually inside a little bit of rain, okay. In that case, let's just put the engine anti-ice on for a moment. By the way, not sure where the fault light on the wing anti-ice comes from there. Put that on for a second, see if anything happens. Okay, looks like wing anti-ice is indeed failed. Interesting. I don't remember programming that, but it looks like it is. Okay, clear of any precipitation now, so engine anti-ice off. And that's it. Okay, let's take a direct Delta Kilo Bravo. Confirm. Confirmed. And we are on course to Delta Kilo Bravo. Not too much longer till we reach our cruising level. Almost 6 minutes in the air, passing flight level 165. You can see this aircraft got a lot of power. For sure it does when you're flying it almost empty like we are right now. Obviously we could have ended a climb derate, but we didn't do that. And indeed my company doesn't use climb derates, so for that reason I just didn't use one at all. Okay, 12 miles to top of climb, and that matches the needle roughly. Very good. So with that, we are pretty much en route. Be it 30 minutes to Munich, as it is right now, or 12 hours to Tokyo. If I'm honest with you, at this point I'd probably prefer the 12 hours to Tokyo. Just makes our life a little bit easier than if we have to go constantly up and down and up and down and up and down. But you get where I'm going with this. Approaching. That's a call we introduced when we've got 1 minute to the cleared level, just to raise awareness of the pilot flying. that soon we have to do something. Speed, vertical speed. You don't need to do that approaching call out when you have just 1,000 to go. Then you just do 1,000 to go, and that's it. Okay, let's bring it all the way up to cruising level, and then we'll have a quick look through the EFB, do a little bit of performance calculation, and prepare for our landing at Munich. $1,000 to go, checked. Okay, up here everything is done. I cannot really explain that wing anti-ice fault. I have no idea where that came from. But doesn't matter, we don't really need wing anti-ice at all today. So let's have a quick look outside. Quick look what our A340-600 looks like on the way. And I do have to say, it is quite a sexy looking airplane. The model itself, well, obviously not up to Microsoft Flight Simulator standards. I don't think we need to talk about that. But overall, I do quite like the looks of this airplane. Even though not up to the standards of modern days add-ons, obviously. But then again, this isn't the newest of all add-ons either. This is a couple of years old by now. Okay, I'll cruise start. I'll cruise. And here we are in flight level 230. So, pilot monitoring, just gonna give the eCamera a quick check, go through all the pages, make sure that there is nothing abnormal. For anything significant, the airplane is going to alert you, but let's say if there was a high vibration on an engine, for example, you might not necessarily get an alert straight away, and if you keep regular eye on your eCam, then you will usually see these things a little bit quicker than when the airplane would alert you. But in any case, if there is anything important, then obviously the airplane is going to tell you. Alright, and that is what things look like. Happy with that? Yep, certainly. Okay. So, Yoke control, I'm going to do a little bit of a setup for our arrival into Munich. And just like last time, we are going to start with our charts. And with the EFB, that's always the first thing you do. So, taxi chart, we can certainly make good use of that. And then we need the parking stands east as well. Okay. Then, for our arrival, we'll have the Rokiel to 6 transition, which is this. And finally, we need an ILS approach as well. Going to be the ILS 26 right. Okay, that is all our charts prepared. Then let's quickly run the landing performance. Reset that, please. Thank you. 1014. Let's see. 309, slightly variable, 25 degrees, 1014. Becoming 280 at 4. That is just about perfect for us. Throttle fuel 9.3. That means we're going to burn 2.4 tons of fuel, which is 230.4, and that is what it's calculated as well. Landing config full, no pilot via, braking mode is okay. Let's run some computation. 1914 meters. Let's compare that to the taxi chart. And we have 4,000 meters. Okay, just after half, so Alpha 6 is going to be our exit using this data, and I would say that looks quite alright to me. Cool. So let's go ahead and run a little bit of an FMC setup. Flight plan, let's do a couple comparisons here. Normally, Over Buram we need to be in about flight level 150. Let's enter that. Like so. And Rokiel, I believe, was flight level 110, but we're probably going to get a shortcut anyway. Okay, that looks good. Missed approach does as well. For a setup then, it's going to be Delta Mike November on the VOR and Mike India Quebec on the ADF. And that should cover us. So it's going to be an ADF VOR setup. Okay, Munich 26 right, cheapest primary high accuracy looks good. Let's go ahead and prepare for our arrival. 290 knots looks good, I'm going to keep that. Then 1014, 25 degrees, 309. We'll leave the transition level untouched. Okay, let's quickly check our MDA. It is 1649. So 1649. Perfect. And it's going to be a flat full landing as we said earlier. Acceleration, if we have to, we're going to make it 1000, 1000. And engine out is going to be 2940. Like so. Okay, fuel prediction. We have 14 minutes extra. That is perfect. And then on the secondary flight plan, I'm going to prepare runway 26 left. Just so. And finally, performance minimum is going to be 1670 on 26 left. Like that. Perfect. Okay, and that's really all we need. Okay then. Reaching our top of descent, we just about overflew it. So let's go ahead and start our descent. Flight level 130 at first. First idle descent, Alps, flight level 130 blue. How high are we? Just 1000, that's fine. Okay. I'm gonna turn the seatbelt signs on already. And then I'd say let's go ahead with the approach briefing. Just like on the departure, it is going to be the pilot monitoring's turn to start with the briefing. Okay, Mora for the arrival, 4300. Our start is going to be the Rokiel 26 transition for the ILS approach, runway 26 right, MDA 1649. And for the go around, it's going to be straight ahead to 1 DME of Delta Mike November to the east. Sorry, to the west, or 1900, whichever is later, right turn back into Quebec, climbing to 5000. Extra fuel is 14 minutes. Okay, pilot flying's turn to take this over. And we are back nice on path, very good. So, the approach is going to be radar vectored, and we are going to fly an ILS approach, decelerated approach technique. For a flap full landing, stop margin on this one is calculated at 1,746 meters. We're going to use the reversers in idle. Actually, no, we are going to use maximum reverse and auto brakes low, which is selected, and our exit is going to be the second exit available. So that's going to be via Alpha 6. Hotspots for taxi in operation, I don't really see anything. We gotta be a little bit careful on the apron there, not to clip our wings. So threats for the arrival, pretty much just about that. Wingtip clearance is a bit of a thing, so we just gotta be careful with our taxi. We're going to use the taxi camera, as that is greatly to enhance situational awareness. You have any other threats for the arrival? No? Okay, very good. Arrival briefing is completed. I am off the radio, quickly going to do a PA to the passengers. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon from the flight deck. Your first officer speaking. We are currently descending towards Munich with a remaining flight time of about 25 minutes, which means that we are going to arrive on time on the runway 26 right. Expected or calculated arrival time at the moment is going to be at 11:55 local time, and the weather in Munich is pretty good. Temperatures 25 degrees centigrade, a light wind blowing from the northwest, and just a few clouds on the sky, just that you can see on the outside right now. Would like to thank you very much for choosing Lufthansa today. Hope you have enjoyed this flight. If you did, then we would greatly appreciate to see you again on board a future scheduled service. Thank you for your attention. We look forward to welcoming you again in the future. Until then, wish you a nice and safe continuous journey. Sehr geehrte Damen und Herren, einen schönen guten Tag aus dem Cockpit. Hier spricht Ihr Co-Pilot. Mein Name ist Emanuel. Ich habe ein kleines Update zu unserem Flug. Wir haben bereits unsere Reiseflughöhe verlassen und werden in etwa 20 Minuten in München landen. Und das bedeutet, dass unsere erwartete Ankunftszeit 11:55 Uhr lokaler Zeit ist. Wetter in München aktuell ein leichter Wind aus Nordwest, Temperatur 25 Grad bei einigen vereinzelten Wolken, so wie man es aktuell auch außerhalb des Flugzeuges beobachten kann. Wir bedanken uns an der Stelle ganz herzlich, dass Sie heute unsere Gäste waren, wünschen Ihnen einen schönen Aufenthalt, gegebenenfalls eine gute und sichere Weiterreise. Wir freuen uns, Sie auch bald wieder an Bord eines unserer Flugzeuge begrüßen zu dürfen und wünschen Ihnen bis dahin einen schönen Aufenthalt. Vielen Dank für Ihre Aufmerksamkeit, haben Sie eine gute und sichere Weiterreise und wir freuen uns, Sie bald wieder an Bord zu sehen. Okay, that's the passengers brief, so how about we start our approach preparation. At this point, I would very likely expect a shortcut from air traffic control, so how about we take Delta Mike 427. Now that is by default probably not part of the flight plan. No, it isn't, so we are just going to enter it manually. Delta Mike 427, you can put that in here, or not. Let's try that again, Delta Mike 427, put it here then. Where's my waypoint? Where is my 427? Doesn't seem to be in here as well. Well, in that case, let's just go direct there. Delta Mike 427. Direct to. Looks good. Insert. Then we'll just put 429 behind it. Like so. Insert, and here we go. On the way. So that's gonna put us a little bit low in the profile. So that's what you basically always get in Munich, so that is absolutely nothing to worry about. Continue descent flight level 100, and we will let our computer take care of the navigation for us now. As you can see, I said flight level 100, that's flight level 100 blue. Gonna reach it just about to beam the airport a little bit earlier, maybe 10 miles earlier. And that is actually alright, because it means that we have a little bit of distance to play with. The long-haul wide-body Airbuses are really good gliders, so you can see we just barely need any thrust in order to maintain 1,000 feet a minute. And even before that, you can see the plane easily descended at like 1,500 feet while doing 290 knots. So that leads to a gliding ratio, which is really good, and even quite a bit better than a lot of your aircraft that you are used to. So while we normally say that an airplane takes approximately 3 nautical miles to lose 1,000 feet in the descent, on this airplane it is 4 nautical miles. So you can see the descent is quite stretched actually. But then again, that is alright, because we have a pretty strong speed brake available. If we use the speed brake to the full extent, then we are going to approximately double our rate of descent or our rate of deceleration. So if you think about it, normally you do about 1,200 feet per minute rate of descent in idle thrust at 250 knots. If you're using full speed brake, you are going to do approximately double of that. And with that, you are actually able to fly a profile similar to most other aircraft. So when people say the wide-body Airbuses are gliders, they don't necessarily only mean Air Transats lurking at the Azores Islands. No, they actually mean the plane really glides very, very well. Okay. So not that much more to do at the moment, so how about we go just back to the outside and check out the airplane a tiny bit more. So the livery is one which I downloaded on xplane.org, if I'm not totally mistaken. I'm still getting my head around those different options available. And here's something that you can see that's quite special to the A330, A340 series. And that is, you can see the windows going up at the back. And that's really how the plane is built. And if you look at it from the top, you can see how the plane is getting a little bit smaller in the back there. And in the front, you usually have 2 seats on the outside and 4 seats in the middle. So a 2-4-2 configuration. In the back, due to the narrower fuselage, you usually have a 2-3-2 configuration. This looks quite interesting when you see it in the airplane's cabin, but it actually makes quite a bit of sense seeing the general shape of the airplane. Talking about the airplane's shape, overall we can pretty determinedly say that Airbus did an excellent job designing those aircraft. If you just look at the rate of descent that we're getting from our airplane over here, so just about, you name it, 1,000 feet a minute, and you're maintaining your speed with that, it really tells you that the airplane is very, very aerodynamic. And indeed, that is what all our flight characteristics confirm as well. Okay, I'll start. Now look at this, we are leveling off at level 100, and now look at how little speed the airplane loses in level flight. Out. This is really phenomenal, isn't it? But okay, let's continue our descent all the way down to 5,000. First idle open descent, alt, flight level 50 blue. Set QNH 1013. 1013 cross check, passing 10,000 now. Checked. Okay, and passing 10,000, so let's run our procedures. Okay, GPS primary with a high accuracy, and we can simply memorize this in case we get any in case our nav accuracy decreases, the airplane would alert us to it. So we don't really need to worry about that anymore now. So below 10,000 feet, and we are set to QNH, so let's run the approach checklist. Barrel ref, QNH 1013, seatbelts on minimum, MDA 1649, auto brake, low, engine start selector, normal, approach checklist complete. So look at that, 250 knots, idle thrust, 1400 feet a minute. Taking into account the size and the weight of this airplane, that is really incredible. By the way, talking about the weight, we are at 231.7 tons right now. For an A340, that is the landing weight. For an A330, it is the maximum takeoff weight. Just goes to show us how big this airplane actually is. In flight simulation, it is very easy to lose track of the size of an airplane. But looking at this, the proportions are more or less like most aircraft we're used to. But think about it. This is the size of the 737. About to the front of the wings of the A340. That's the 737-800. And that gives you an idea how big this airplane actually is. That really gives you an idea. Okay then, back to our FO seat. So we're going to reach 5,000 just to beam our final approach fix. And that means at about 6,000 I am going to activate the approach phase. That's going to start our speed reduction, and then we can easily make our final. So something in X-plane. You see the glide slope going through here right now. Now look at the distance. You can easily tell that over here the glide slope should be about at 5,000. So what we just saw going through here was a side lobe of the glide slope. In real life, that is quite an issue because, well, just look at that Turkish Airlines accident there. So here's the side lobe of the slope. So just look at the Turkish Airlines 747 crash. They captured the side lobe and therefore approached on not a 3-degree glide slope, but a 9-degree glide slope instead. And obviously it is quite easy to see how that turned into disaster quite quickly. 1,000 to go. Activate approach race. Approach race activated. Let's reduce our airspeed. Again, descending and reducing speed at the same time is pretty difficult in the wide-body Airbus. You can see how little our trend vector shows. And keep in mind, the trend vector indicates where we're going to be in 10 seconds from now. So you can see we're barely losing any speed. Okay, turn right heading 170, base leg. And sequence the flight plan, please. Confirm? Confirmed. So, pull the heading knob once more. And here we go, this actually looks quite nice. 5 miles from the FAF, the speed is coming down, very good. And we're just a bit below the glide slope, and this one actually seems to be the actual glide slope. So this seems credible over there to me. Flaps 1, speed checked, flaps 1. Okay, looks good. Our airport should be somewhere over there. I'm sure that's going to come in a few moments. So, turn right in 230, clear ILS approach 26 right. Speed, alt, cut 3 dual, autopilot 1 and 2, glide slope localizer blue. We're going to fly the approach with the decelerated approach technique. That means we're going to intercept the glide slope with flaps 1 and the S speed, and at 2,500 feet above the aerodrome elevation we are going to start configuring our airplane. Lock star, localizer alive. So config 1 maintaining altitude should give us something in the region of 7.5 degrees of pitch. A little bit less maybe. In the A330 a little bit more, up to 9 degrees. Lock. And about to intercept the glide slope. Flash up star, go around altitude 5,000 set. Okay, established. So, field elevation is 1,500 feet. That means at 4,000 feet we're going to start configuring. Glide slope. Obviously, ATC might have something to say about this as well. And flying 200 knots on the final really is quite fast. So, don't be surprised if ATC tells you to slow down earlier. If they do, just go flap 2, and you might need a bit of speed brake because you can see that with flap 1 on the glide slope we barely lose any speed. Let's go flap 2, and I'm going to show you that you are not going to lose any more speed than you had right now. So, speed check, flaps 2. Well, look at this. First of all, quite a bit of ballooning in here. I'm not sure if that pitch of 5 degrees down is actually correct, but, well. But you can see we're following the glide slope and we are not really losing any speed. So, on one hand side we could go gear down. Let's do that. Let's see what it does. But if gear down doesn't help, you've got to use the speed brake. And you better do it earlier than later, because once you're high on energy, it's really hard to lose it again in the wide-body Airbuses. Okay, flap 3. Speed checked, flap 3.
2000.
Flaps full. Speed check, flaps full. Landing checklist. Well, still waiting for the cabin. Let's hope they're gonna get ready. If not, I'm just going to ignore them. Slowly approaching our final speed. Slowly but steadily. And you can see at 2,500 feet we are at the 1,000 foot gate. So by that time we need to have a little bit of thrust in. Just like so. So we are stable just now. So think about that for a second. We really, really, really glide very well. Running the risk of repeating myself, I know. Okay, in any case, let's ignore the cabin here. So, landing checklist, econ memo, landing no blue, landing checklist complete. Okay then, disconnecting the autopilot, let's do a bit of hand flying. I'm still getting used to the weight of the large Airbuses. The fly-by-wire really has a little bit of lack in here. By the way, the real one as well. So you do an input and it just takes that little more moment compared to the small Airbuses, and especially compared to the 737, which would just react immediately. So you've got to plan ahead a little bit.
400.
Land.
100 above.
Check.
200. 200.
Minimum.
Continue.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20.
Retard.
10.
5.
Spoilers, reverse green, decel. So let's see how accurate our landing prediction is. Not the first one, but the second taxiway we should take. 70 knots. Manual brakes. Okay, let's have it roll forward a little bit. Taxi camera on. And we are vacating. Okay, welcome to Munich. So, down to a decent speed and off we go. That's the pilot flying stuff, now comes the pilot monitoring stuff. And we've got a little bit of time left, so we are not going to run the... we're not going to start the APU just yet. Okay, first to the left, into Alpha 6, and then on to November. And then we turn left, November, and make our way towards the gates. This is where we vacated, this is where we are turning onto now. Right side clear, left side clear. And again, it might look like you are running the airplane quite off the center line from the cockpit's point of view, but if you look at the taxi camera, you can see where the main gears are. And you can see just how far I actually need to steer over in order to get my main gears onto the center line. You could see how the nose wheel was almost on the edge of the taxiway there. And that's just about how big this airplane is. Okay, after landing checklist, radar and PWS off. After landing checklist complete. Again, mostly using idle thrust for this. It is important that you take the airplane out of the reversers because of the way the thrust reverse works over here, and you really want to be sure that you do not kill all your positive thrust here. Idle thrust on this airplane is a superb thing for taxi at lightweight. However, be aware that if you are running your engines in reverse, you are going to lose all of that. Again, watch at how close to the line of the taxiway the nose wheel is, while the main wheel is spot on the center line here. Okay, we got the brake fan hot indication there. Let's see, 380 degrees. Yeah, you know what? Let's turn on the brake fan. It's going to be a short turnaround, so we better just turn it on. Okay, start APU. Okay, let's take a little bit of a distance here from the gates. It's just about for me to make it a bit easier to turn into the gates. Okay, that's gonna be our gate just over here. (204) Bravo. Okay. Not slowing it down. 4 or 5 knots. You shouldn't go much quicker towards the parking gate. Don't have a marshaller here, unfortunately, but we have our taxi camera, so let's just about align the nose wheel ourselves on the most forward position up there, and then we have it. Wish we had that in the A330. That's a really great tool. Here we are. Okay, brake set, APU avail. So, shut down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cabin crew, all doors in park. Okay, beacon off, and now we just about gotta wait until they disarm the slides, and then we can turn off the seatbelt sign and read the parking checklist. So here we go, slides are going disarmed. Very good. Parking checklist. Parking brake or chocks. That's the brake set. Engines. Off. Wing light. Off. Fuel pumps. Off. Parking checklist complete. Alright, so let's go ahead and get ourselves a ground power, please. And chocks as well, since our brakes are getting pretty hot. So that's the brakes released, and ground power is connected. Alright, shut down the APU. And with that, we are done. So that is it. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. I surely hope you enjoyed this one. And I hope that you are going to enjoy the A340 as well. So, what do I think of it? Well, it honestly comes pretty close in terms of the systems to the A330. No surprise with it being a common type rating. And I honestly gotta tell you, it flies pretty close, it handles very close, and it is a big joy to fly. The graphics are a bit outdated, unfortunately. You can see it both outside and inside, but nonetheless, when you are just after the systems handling after the experience of flying it, like I am at the moment, then I can absolutely recommend you to have a look at the ToLiss A340-600. It is available only for X-Plane 12 and X-Plane 11, unfortunately. Support for X-Plane 10 was dropped, and it's not compatible with Microsoft Flight Simulator, unfortunately. Would be so great if it was, but, well, it isn't. And in any case, this is a great little tool to experience the feeling of a wide-body Airbus. At this point, thank you very much for watching, everyone. I do hope that you enjoyed this. Do let me know in the comments below, as always. I'm looking forward to read your comments, and as always, if there is anything you can think I could improve, do let me know in the comments. If you liked the video, leave a like to the vid, and finally, if you want to see more, then subscribe to my channel for further videos. Thank you for watching. I am pretty sure I'm going to do a tutorial series featuring this one. The graphics are a bit outdated, but then again, it is the best Airbus widebody that we can get our hands on at the moment, so I'm really looking forward to the tutorial series. Thank you for watching, and if you don't want to miss those tutorials, make sure to subscribe. And as always, if you really like the video, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me Coffee link that you can find in the video description below. Thanks for watching, and I see you all again on the next one.